History often remembers victories, speeches, and heroes but rarely focuses on the decisions that cost the most lives. Some choices made in moments of fear, ambition, or miscalculation changed the course of the United States forever. These were not accidents. They were deliberate decisions, taken by leaders who believed they were doing what was necessary. The consequences, however, were devastating. Today, we examine the deadliest decisions in United States history, decisions that led to massive loss of life and still shape the world we live in. One of the earliest and deadliest decisions was the forced removal of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act, authorizing the relocation of tens of thousands of Native Americans to lands west of the Mississippi River. This decision led directly to the Trail of Tears, where entire families were forced to march hundreds of miles in brutal conditions. Disease, starvation, and exposure killed an estimated 15,000 people. It was not a natural tragedy. It was a policy choice driven by expansion and economic greed. Another catastrophic decision came in 1861, when political compromise failed and the United States entered the Civil War. Leaders on both sides believed the conflict would be short. They were disastrously wrong. The decision to go to war over slavery, state rights, and political power resulted in more than 620,000 deaths, making it the deadliest war in American history. Entire cities were destroyed, families torn apart, and a generation of young men lost. Even victory came at a horrifying price. In 1917, the United States made the decision to enter World War I, sending American soldiers into a brutal industrial war unlike anything they had faced before. Trenches, poison gas, and machine guns turned battlefields into slaughter zones. Over 116,000 American soldiers died, many in battles driven by outdated strategies against modern weapons. The war reshaped global politics but left deep scars at home. Just decades later, another decision would introduce the world to a new level of destruction. In August 1945, President Harry Truman authorized the use of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The decision was justified as a way to end World War II quickly and avoid a land invasion of Japan. The immediate result was the death of over 200,000 civilians, many of whom were women and children. Radiation sickness continued to kill survivors for decades. This single decision changed warfare forever and began the nuclear age. During the Cold War, fear drove another deadly choice: the Vietnam War escalation. In the 1960s, U.S. leaders believed stopping communism in Southeast Asia was essential. The Gulf of Tonkin resolution allowed massive military involvement without a formal declaration of war. The result was nearly 58,000 American deaths and millions of Vietnamese casualties. The war fractured American society, destroyed trust in government, and ended without a clear victory. Some deadly decisions were hidden from the public. One of the most disturbing was the approval of unethical human experiments, such as the Tuskegee syphilis study. For decades, government officials allowed black men to suffer and die without treatment, even after a cure was available. This decision destroyed lives and permanently damaged trust between minority communities and the medical system. After the September 11th attacks, the United States faced intense pressure to respond. The decision to launch the war in Afghanistan was driven by national security concerns. However, the later decision to invade Iraq in 2003, based on false intelligence about weapons of mass destruction, became one of the most controversial choices in modern history. Thousands of American soldiers were killed, hundreds of thousands of civilians died, and the region was destabilized for decades. The long-term consequences are still unfolding today. Another deadly decision involved the treatment of civilians during wartime. In World War II, the U.S. government ordered the internment of Japanese Americans, forcing over 120,000 people into camps without evidence of wrongdoing. Though not a battlefield decision, it destroyed livelihoods, families, and lives, proving that fear can override justice even in democratic societies. The Cold War also brought the world dangerously close to extinction during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Decisions made in secret rooms determined whether nuclear war would begin. One miscalculation could have killed millions. Although disaster was avoided, the event showed how deadly decisions don't always end in visible destructions. Sometimes the danger lies in how close the world comes to it. These decisions were not made by villains in isolation. They were made by humans under pressure, influenced by politics, fear, ambition, and imperfect information. But the impact was real, measured in lives lost, families destroyed, and nations changed forever. Understanding these deadliest decisions is not about blaming the past. It is about learning from it. History shows us that power without accountability can be deadly, and that the cost of a single decision can echo for generations. Because in the end, the most dangerous weapon in history is not a bomb or a gun, it is a decision made without fully understanding its consequences.